was unanimously approved here this afternoon, and under the county's proposed plan, it would require a few things, including signage on LA County property, and it would also prevent federal officers from accessing county property when it comes to immigration enforcement operations. This proposed effort will help regulate county spaces. Now, this is happening after recent immigration enforcement operations in LA, and also cited an operation in October of last year for a county stampede. And under this proposed plan, federal agents would be prevented from using county-owned property as staging areas, processing sites, or operation bases. It would also require physical barriers and signage that states the property is owned and operated by LA County and it can't be used for immigration enforcement. The ICE zone not restrict or interfere with lawful judicial warrant. Here is more from Supervisor Police and Supervisor.
This ordinance today that is to safeguard property for LA County that cannot be used by ICE agents unless there is a federal warrant.
We expect that this ordinance will allow us to provide more enforcement. We hope that it leads to ICE actually following our orders and working with the county to understand that these are places where people come to get services from the government. There are programs that are actually funded by the federal government happening in our county buildings.
The question here is whether any of this could be enforced and if federal agents would comply. We spoke to Loyola Law School professor Jessica Levinson for her take on this plan.
So we see this kind of matchup between states' rights and the rights of the federal government. In this case, I think the legality will turn on the specifics here. When it comes to property that LA County owns, I think they can make a good argument that the federal government cannot force LA County to allow them to use that property, that the federal government, like anybody else, should have to get a license. I think what's important about the proposed ordinance is that there is a carve out when there is a judicial warrant that ICE agents might have.
Now, as far as what happens next, the ordinance will return in 30 days for a vote, and then there will be a second reading. Then NBC4 has reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment on this proposed plan. We're still waiting to hear back. Much more from this from supervisors and reaction coming up right here at 5:30. For now, live in downtown LA, Camilla Rambal, NBC4 News.
All right, a developing story there, Camilla. Thank you so much. Hollywood actor Timothy Busfield has turned himself into authorities after two children accused him of sex abuse. In a new video posted by TMZ, he maintains he's...
I'm going to confront these lies. They're horrible. They're all lies. And I did not do anything to those little boys. And I'm going to fight it.
An arrest warrant was issued for Busfield in New Mexico last week after two children accused Busfield of touching them inappropriately on the set of the Fox series The Cleaning Lady, in which she directed and acted. The abuse is alleged to have taken place between November 2022 and spring of 2024. Busfield has now been officially booked in Albuquerque with one count of child abuse and two counts of sexual contact with a minor. Meantime, anti-Semitic graffiti was discovered on a wall at the site of a Pasadena temple. The building was destroyed in last year's Eaton fire, and now an exterior wall at the site was tagged. That's according to the LA County Sheriff's Department. We spoke with a man who lives across from the temple. He says he called police when he saw the paint.
Unnecessary to bring people hate each other instead of bring it back together.
So far, no arrests have been made. NBC4's Keenan Willard spoke with a rabbi about the vandalism. He joins us live at 4. The woman charged in connection with a DUI crash that killed a high school tennis star in Manhattan Beach has pleaded not guilty to the murder. Braun Levy was hit and killed on South Sepulveda Boulevard in May. It happened just weeks before he was set to graduate high school. The driver, 33-year-old Jenya Belt, will stay in jail in lieu of $2 million bail. Her next court appearance is in March. And the man seen on video driving a U-Haul through a crowd of protesters in Westwood has been released on a charge of reckless driving. The U-Haul was displaying messages opposing a large group of demonstrators that were protesting against the Iranian government. The driver, identified as 48-year-old Kaler Maidanadjet, was attacked by members of the crowd. One protester was struck by the U-Haul, but not seriously hurt. A law enforcement source tells NBC4 investigates. It appears the driver had no intention of harming anyone and was overwhelmed. He's due in court next month. All right, guys, let's go outside and take a live look there at Mount Wilson. Our meteorologist, Stephanie Omo, is here. She's tracking those conditions. And, of course, those winds are still around.
Yes, especially, again, we've been talking about the Santa Ana wind-prone areas. If you live in places like Santa Clarita, all the way down to Malibu, around that general area, even portions of the Inland Empire, however, the winds aren't too bad out there. You're feeling the winds and also warmer temperatures. Right now, we're checking out this side here of Mount Wilson, where we're looking at mostly skies, a little bit of a haze out there. And as we go over the winds, these are sustained winds, by the way. They're relatively light, not too bad. We're looking at sustained winds close to 10 miles an hour in areas like Ontario down to Riverside, 7-mile-per-hour sustained winds in Hemet. Over in the area Santa Clarita down to Thousand Oaks and Oxnard, we're seeing winds just a little bit stronger out this way, but still, all in all, not too bad at all across the area, also around LAX. So I want to go over and check out, this is the wind advisory. So it was yesterday, we were primarily focused around the western part of LA County and portions of Ventura County. Now it looks like the advisory has extended to include really much of the San Gabriel Mountains, as we will continue to see the winds as we head into midweek, as we head into weekend. So more winds in the forecast and also warmer. So we'll go over all of that coming up shortly. For now, back to you, Annabelle.
And stuff. Thank you so much. We are counting down to LA 28, and registration opens for a chance to buy tickets for the more than 24 events. NBC4's Robert Cavalli at the LA Memorial Coliseum, which will be hosting the opening ceremony for the 3rd time. Robert, and we're also hearing some big names are there to celebrate.
You know, Annabelle, it's sort of hard to get your head around that. 28 is upon us. Today really does mark the start. The countdown will really begin, and here we are. Inside the empty Memorial Coliseum in history in 1932, the first time the LA hosted the Olympics. That's the first time women were allowed to participate. Of course, we've only seen more women and will continue to see more women participate. And then 1984, said to be the most accessible Olympics ever. And now this is being billed, LA 28, as the greatest games in Olympic history. And so what will happen here today? Well, we are prepping for the Olympic ticket draw. Yes, you're going to actually be able to get ready all afternoon live on NBC4 throughout Olympic and Paralympic athletes joining here together to get is upon us. And what is upon us? The Summer Olympics coming to Los Angeles for the very 3rd time in 2 years. Even said less than 2 years. And so the line is here today to get you even more excited, and Eddie, I don't know if it's going to be possible. Let's see if it is. We're going to walk around this way to get you even more excited. They are going to the Olympic cauldron. Now, if that's to ignite the flame and ignite for the Olympics. I don't know what it is. So, this down here.